transversal. And I know parallel lines, you guys already know those. In algebra 1, you guys talked about it, two lines that never cross, they go the same way. And then we talk about slopes and all that. So let's actually, there's a total of 4 rules. I'm only going to cover 2 today. So we'll start these notes and we'll finish them next week. So for parallel lines, let me draw 2 parallel lines there. Some of the facts that I want to talk about 2 rules. Let me draw them there. Let's assume they're parallel and that they never cross. And as a matter of fact, when we get it on their worksheets, we're going to have a little arrow, either 1 arrow or 2. That way we know they are parallel. Right? That's just for us to know they are parallel. Transversal. What a transversal is the line that crosses the parallel line. Any way it crosses it. So let me just cross it like this. I'm going to label it T for transversal. It doesn't have to be slanted that way. It could be straight up, or it could be slanted the other way. And a transversal is just, it crosses 2 parallel lines. That's all it is. Today, we're going to learn 2 rules. One of them is called alternate interior. The other one's called alternate exterior. So alternate interior and alternate exterior. You guys notice both have an alternate word. So what alternate means, for today, alternate, before I actually continue what it means in math, does anybody know what that means in English? What does alternate mean?
It's like a pattern.
Like a pattern or a what? Like, well, alternate means 2 angles. Keep in mind I'm going straight because I'm going to obviously both have the word alternate. So alternate means 2 angles on opposite sides of the transversal. So I'm talking about 2 angles, but they are on opposite sides of the transversal. That's what alternate means. All right, once again, I have alternate interior, alternate exterior. I have 2 rules, but for both, alternate means 2 angles on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so one on one side, one on the other side. For interior, both angles are between the parallel lines. Sorry, I'm writing all scribble. So the interior, both angles are between the parallel lines. All right, so I see the 2 parallel lines, so in between it, that means interior. So an example of alternate interior will be something like that. All right, both are inside and both are on opposite sides of the transversal. That's not the only example. Let me take a look at another example. I'm going to say this angle is alternate interior with this other angle. Right, both are in between and opposite sides of the transversal. Now for exterior, what do you guys think exterior means? Outside of the parallel lines. So let's just write that. Outside the parallel lines. For example, I'm going to go this angle with this angle. Another example, I'm going to say this angle with this other angle. Right? The red with the red or the blue with the blue. Keep in mind that each side, each example, they're both opposite sides of the transversal, and in that case, they're both outside. The important thing of the alternates, right, alternate interior, alternate exterior, the important thing, these pair of angles congruent. Keep in mind for congruent, I'm writing an equal sign with a wiggly thing on top. Let me pass out your worksheet while you guys finish writing that. That way we can get to work on it. Once again, what congruent means, same shape, same size. We know they have the same shape because they look like angles. So I'm going to say same size. These pairs of angles are congruent. So these pairs of angles are congruent. Let's take a look at question number 1. Let me erase my notes. Minimize this a little. Alright, so question number 1. Find the measure of each angle indicated. Alright, and you guys can see it's indicated with a question mark. I noticed that that angle in 110, both angles are alternate interior. So because they are congruent, I know they're the same. So how big is that angle? 110. Okay, so the first 10 is not that hard. Really, really simple. So let me not do the first 10. I'll let you guys do those. Let me skip to number 11. Solve for x. I noticed that 30x and 31x minus 3, they're alternate exterior. So I know they're congruent, which means they're equal to each other. So let me just write 31x minus 3 is equal to 30x. 31x minus 3 equals 30x, right? I let them equal each other because they are parallel. And I know once again they're parallel because of my little arrows. Let me separate my sides with an equal sign. Your algebra teacher showed you guys how to solve for equations. But I solve it a little different. The way I do it is, I'm going to put the terms with a letter on the left side and those without a letter on the right side. Because whenever I move something from one side to the other, I switch the side. So what I mean with that, let me go 31x minus 30x equals positive 3. My 3 on the left became positive on the right because I moved it. My 30x on the right became negative 30x on the left. My 31x, I left it 31x because it didn't move sides. And then now it's easier to simplify. How much is 31x minus 30x? Let's use 1x. 3. I think we have the solution there, right? X equals 3. Right, let's take a look at question number 12. I'm going to say that 2 plus 14x is equal to 100. Right, they're alternate exteriors, so I let them equal each other. Let me separate the sides with an equal sign, and I'm going to write 14x is equal to 100 minus 2. Right, I move my 2 to the right, so I switch the sign. Yes? Well, like you mean like negative 2 plus 100? Yeah, that's the same thing. Alright, so on the left side, I just have 14x. What do I have on the right? 98. And then just like your algebra teacher told you guys, if the x is not by itself, divide both sides by that number. So let me divide both sides by 14. How big is x? 7. Alright, let me take a look at one more. 13 is easy. Probably 14. I'm going to write 13x minus 3 equals to 75. Right, they're alternate exterior. So I'm going to write 13x equals 75 plus 3. Right, by 3 I switch the sign. 13x equals 78. So how big is that? What is it? 6. any questions up until 20? Okay. 6, I divided both sides by 13. 78 divided by 13. The first 10 were easy. Okay, I only did one. But any questions up until 20? Alright, let's take a look at 21. Find the measure of each angle indicated in bold. And I see the darkest we see is 14x minus 5. Right, that's the darkest of the two. So we have to find out how big is that angle. And it would be nice if I knew what x was, because I can just plug it in, right? 14 times x minus 5. So since we don't know what x is, let me solve for x. So the way I'm going to set this up, I'm going to go 14x minus 5 is equal to 13x, right? Because they're alternate exterior. So then I have 14x minus 13x equals 5. How big is x? X equals 5. So now that we know the value of x, plug it in. So how much is 14 times 5? 70. 70 minus 5? 65. So my solution here would be 65 degrees. Remember, the question is not what is x. We solve for x in order for us to be able to answer the angle. So don't come and say x equals 5. I'm asking for the angle. So solve for x and then plug it in. 22. Alright, let's take a look at 22. I'm going to have 12x minus 4 equals 10x plus 10. So I have 12x minus 10x, 4 plus 10. Keep in mind, whatever moved from one side to the other, I switch the sign. How much is 12x minus 10x? 2x. How much is 4 plus 10? 14. So what's x? 7. Alright, so now that we know the value, and I see the darkest is 12x minus 4, let me plug in the 7 in there. How much is 12 times 7? 84. 84 minus 4 is 8. So, hope you guys like how I solve for equations. I know your algebra teacher probably solved it a little bit different. Now, any questions on our work? Which one? One more? 23. Alright. Let's take a look at 23. I notice that these two angles are alternate interior. So I'm going to let them equal each other. Let me just come and write 10x minus 5 is equal to 8x plus 17. Some of you guys might wonder, well, which angle do I write first? Do I write the 8x plus 17? Do I write the 10x minus 5? Which one do I write at the left? It doesn't matter. In my case, I write the one with the bigger x because I like to deal with positive signs. My case, but it doesn't matter. So I will just write 10x minus 8x is equal to 5 plus 17. How much is 10x minus 8x? 2x. How much is 5 plus 17? 22. So 2x equals 22. What's x? 11. So x equals 11. And that was not the end in the last question. My question is, how much is 8x plus 17? Alright, x equals 11. So how much is 8 times 11? 88. 88 plus 17? 105. And use your logic to double check your work. You know, an L shape is 90. An L shape is 90. That one is open more than an L shape. So it makes sense that it's more than 90.
How do you know which one to multiply by?
In the dark.
What do you mean?
See how 8x plus 17 is darker than 10x minus 5?
Yeah.
So put it in dark one. But now, let me say something in regards to that question. If you guys plug it into the other one, if you guys plug it into the 10x minus 5, because they're equal, you should get the same thing. I have 10 times 11 is 110. 110 minus 5, you get the same thing.
Why did you add 17? Like you should. Like you're supposed to add.
Well, 8 times x.
Yeah.
So we went 88. 88 plus 17. 105. Right? I'm just going 8 times x plus 17.
You do that for all the other ones too?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing I'll tell you, the first questions 11 through 20, the value of x can be negative. The value of x can be negative. Angles are positive, so 21 through 30, all of them will be positive, but the value of x could be negative. But let's say that on question 23, my x was negative 1, at a negative value. 8 times negative 1 plus 17 still gives me a positive value. So just because the x is negative, doesn't mean it makes the angle negative. So don't be surprised if some of them are negative. Any questions?